And that's what brings us here today. That's why today we're announcing Copilot, our vision for everyday AI companion for you.
Hey, Copilot.
Hey, Copilot.
Hey, Copilot.
Show me how to sync my holiday lights to my music.
Let's walk through it together.
Hey, Copilot. Why are we so far behind?
Toy assembly has declined due to hot cocoa consumption.
Are you talking to your computer?
For 2 years, Microsoft put it everywhere. On your taskbar, inside Word and Excel, in your browser. They even gave it a key on your keyboard, a physical button on a laptop you just paid for something you never asked for. Where? You couldn't remove it. You couldn't avoid it. It was just there. Every morning, whether you wanted it or not. And then, quietly, it started to disappear. Not with an announcement, not with an apology. Just gone from one app, then another. The button on your keyboard that you couldn't escape, Microsoft now says you can switch it off. The thing they spent 2 years forcing into your life is being walked back, and almost no one noticed. But this isn't Microsoft admitting it was wrong. What's really happening is stranger than that, and it tells you exactly how little say you ever had. If you've used a Windows PC this year, you've probably felt it without being able to name it. The little Copilot button vanished from your snipping tool. The one in your Photos app? Gone. In Notepad, the bright AI logo in the corner quietly turned into something called Writing Tools, like it had never been Copilot at all. Nothing told you this was happening. There was no update notice that said we're taking it back. It just thinned out, piece by piece. And here's the part that doesn't add up. This is the same company that a year ago couldn't stop pushing this thing onto you. The same company that wired it into the operating system, the keyboard, the browser. Now it's pulling it back out, one app at a time, and saying as little as possible about it. Maybe you noticed it yourself. You went looking for a button that used to annoy you almost out of habit, and it wasn't there. And instead of relief, you felt something closer to suspicion. Because when a company that never stops talking suddenly goes quiet, it's usually not because the story is over. So which is it? Was Copilot the future of Windows? Or a mistake they're trying to erase before you remember how hard they pushed it on you? To understand the retreat, you have to remember the invasion. A few years ago, Microsoft made a decision. Artificial intelligence wasn't going to be a feature, it was going to be the whole identity of the company. And they moved fast. Office, the software hundreds of millions of people had used for decades, was renamed. It became Microsoft 365 Copilot. The assistant didn't sit in a corner waiting to be asked. It was placed in the center of the taskbar, where the start button had lived your entire life. Edge, the browser, started bending around it. New laptops shipped with that dedicated key. For most people, this was the first time a company had reached past the software and put an AI button on the physical machine in front of them. If you used Windows, you didn't choose Copilot. You were handed it, over and over, in every place you looked. And there was a reason for the urgency. A new race had started, the AI race. And Microsoft did not want to be the company that arrived late. It had been late before. Late to the smartphone, late to search. It watched other companies define the future while it played catch-up. This time it decided it would not be caught standing still. So it didn't roll Copilot out carefully. It flooded everything at once. Speed mattered more than whether you were ready. Looking like the leader mattered more than asking if anyone wanted to follow. And somewhere in that rush, a simple truth got lost. Just because you can put something in front of a billion people doesn't mean a billion people want it. Because there's a difference between putting something in front of millions of people and those people actually wanting it. Microsoft had confused the two. the gap between them was about to get very loud. The backlash didn't start as anger. It started as exhaustion. People were tired of being asked, tired of the pop-ups, the suggestions, the assistant that appeared on its own. And underneath that tiredness was something sharper, like feeling that their own computer was no longer really theirs to set up the way they liked. Then the timing made it worse. While Microsoft was busy pushing AI into every corner of Windows, the operating system itself was struggling. Updates broke things. Some made business PCs unable to start at all. Basic features felt slower than before. So users did the math in their heads. Windows feels broken. Microsoft keeps talking about AI. The conclusion wrote itself. Stop fixing the house and start selling me a robot. The resentment got a name. People online started calling it Microslop, and the word spread so far that Microsoft reportedly banned it from its own community channels. You don't ban a word that isn't hurting you. And that's the moment something shifted. For years, Microsoft had decided what was good for you and delivered it regardless of what you thought. Now, for the first time, the pushback was loud enough that the company had to listen. Or at least looked like it was listening. This was the breaking point. Not a software bug, a trust problem. The quiet realization, for a lot of people, that the company building the thing they relied on every day didn't see them as customers to be served. It saw them as users to be steered. If you find yourself thinking differently about this already, consider subscribing. We're just getting started. So Microsoft began to pull back. But watch how it did it. There was no press conference where the company stood up and said it had gone too far. Instead, the changes arrived the same way the original push did. Quietly. In updates, without asking. One app lost the button. Then the next one did too. The keyboard key got a setting that finally let you turn it into something useful. For the user, it didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a thing that had been bothering you simply stopped one day, without explanation. The same lack of choice that put it there was now taking it away. And if you ever did try to remove it yourself in the months before, you will remember how strange that was. You'd go into settings, hunting for an off switch, and find it wasn't really there. Or it was there, but grayed out. Or you'd turn it off and an update would quietly turn it back on. For a long time, the message was clear. This is not yours to decide. Which is exactly why the sudden retreat felt so disorienting. The wall you've been pushing against for a year just wasn't there anymore. And nobody explained why it had been built in the first place. And then came the reminder of what everything in the cloud actually means. This year, Copilot went down. Not the apps, just the assistant. For hours, people who had been told to build their workday around it sat staring at a service that wouldn't respond. It happened more than once in a single month. Word still open. Excel still calculated. The basic tools you actually owned kept working. It was the new layer, the one Microsoft insisted was the future, that fell over. And that's when a quieter question started to form. If they can force it on you and take it back whenever it suits them, and it stops working when their servers hiccup, then who is this really for? Here's where most people get the story wrong. They look at the disappearing buttons and they think Copilot is dying. It isn't. Because at the exact moment Microsoft was pulling Copilot back out of your home PC, something else was happening that barely made the news. The business side was booming. More than 20 million people now pay for Copilot at work, a number that jumped by roughly a third in just a few months. Sit with that for a second. The version aimed at you, the ordinary person who never asked for it, is quietly being removed. The version aimed at your employer, the one you can't opt out of because it's tied to your job, is growing faster than ever. That's not a retreat. That's a relocation. Think about what that means for you specifically. You can win the fight at home. You can strip every Copilot button out of your own machine and remap that key and feel like you got your computer back. And then Monday comes. You open the laptop your employer gave you, log into the account your employer controls, and there it is. Switched on, paid for, not optional. The one place you spend most of your waking hours is the one place your preferences don't count. Microsoft didn't decide Copilot was a mistake. It decided that fighting you for control of your personal computer wasn't worth the noise, when it could simply move the whole thing to the one place where you don't get a vote, your workplace, where the software is chosen by the people you'll never meet in a contract you never signed. And once you see that, the disappearing buttons stop looking like an apology. They start looking like a strategy. This is the pattern underneath almost everything in modern technology now. The thing you reject as a consumer doesn't go away. It just changes address. From something you choose to something that's chosen for you. From your living room to your office. From optional to unavoidable. So Microsoft is backing down, and also, it isn't. The buttons are leaving your apps. The key on your keyboard can finally be silenced. On the surface, it looks like the user won, like the complaints worked, like for once a company listened. But the key is still there. They didn't remove it. They just let you point it somewhere else. And the assistant you pushed out of your personal life is waiting for you the moment you sit down at work. There's a version of this story where that's fine. The AI gets better. It saves real time. The friction fades. And one day you forget you ever resisted it. But there's another version worth sitting with. The version where you never actually had a choice. You just had the feeling of one. Where the things you reject don't disappear, they relocate to wherever your permission isn't required. Where we're giving you more control quietly means we've moved the decision somewhere you can't reach it. Microsoft never really hid any of this. It was there in the announcements, the rollouts, the renamed apps. But those things have a way of disappearing into the noise. And so one morning, you'll open your laptop, and the button that used to bother you will be gone. And you'll feel the small, quiet relief. And then you'll go to work, and it'll be right there waiting for you. In retrospect, stories behind the decisions, secrets, and turning points that shape our world.